Mindset Podcast. We're your guide as you make your way through life, getting better 1% every day. We believe that life is lived and true victory won through adversity. Nothing easy is ever worth it. We believe in the warrior ethos and support those that choose to walk that path.
Cool. So if you're watching this out there on Facebook, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. This is exciting.
We haven't done a live one, and we were just trying to remember when. It's been like maybe 2 years.
Yeah. Goal setting specifically. I've done it many times over the years, but we haven't done one live for a while.
Yeah, so we'll see how this goes.
Yep.
We will post it. I'll post it later as well. So if you're not here live, don't worry about it. But I suppose you'll be watching that later, so it won't matter.
It won't matter anyway.
All right, so goal setting. Any thoughts to open us up with?
Well, I think we talk a lot about this at Warrior Fitness and Martial Arts because it's just important to know. If you don't know where you're going, you don't know what your next step should be.
Yeah.
So that goes with anything in life.
Yeah, pretty much. And I get asked, I mean, I'm sure you do too. I get asked a lot about how, people don't normally say like, hey, can you help me set some goals? I mean, every once in a while you get somebody who's sort of thinking ahead.
Mm-hmm.
They're in that zone of like thinking about goals and stuff, but it usually comes out a different way,
Usually maybe they come to us and be like, I want to be able to do a pull-up.
Yeah, something like that. So how do I get there?
Right.
You got to break it down.
Right.
So we'll use fitness and health because it's why we're here, I guess, in one way, but this stuff can apply in life in general, not just fitness. I mean, you can apply it to anything. I think.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So let's think about this. So let's look at the fitness realm.
Yeah.
So what are some general, and I've got like 4 that I wrote down, but general areas where we can set goals. And I was just talking to somebody about this too, about how because they've got like a weight loss goal and they're doing great, but they want to sort of up the ante on that. And so we set a participation goal. We're like, you need to try to check in to, 3 of these type of classes each week or something like that. So, participation goals, that's a good one to start with and look at, how many times you're showing up. Because, if you think about our classes, you show up to a class, we'll take care of the rest.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I think that's important. I think I had this one. I don't remember, but I think this is a great first step for probably many people when they're beginning their fitness journey. Maybe is having that goal. And we'll talk about how to reach that goal. But yeah, I think like going from 2 to 3 classes a week, 3 to 4 classes a week, and maybe like a weekend session on your own time or things like that is a really simple way because we know if you're there or not in class. Like that's the whole,
attendance.
We do take attendance. So that's like a really easy, accountable way for not only the folks in your class, but your coaches as well.
Yep. And it's a good way to track progress as well, because if you start out, you come in, you're brand new and you start off with like 2 days a week.
Yeah.
You can set a goal to clock those 2 every week for, 2 or 3 months. And then after 3 months, you can do 3. Yeah. And you'll know how your body feels and you'll know how whatever other things you're doing are going along. So you can sort of grow that thing. I'm not saying that you have to be in there 5 days a week, because I don't particularly believe that. I don't think you have to be. I know some people are because their goals are bigger.
Yeah. I mean, 5 days in a row at the workouts we do, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot if you're doing that. But we also have a variety of classes too. So
that's very true.
Performance can also mean doing different things to vary what you're doing as far as the participation. So
so things like max lifts.
Sure.
Speed in a run, speed in a row, stuff like that. Looking at endurance versus strength.
Yeah.
Those are things that, your coaches can help you with specifically for you, but you can use those things. Another thing that we don't do as much anymore, and I think it's not a CrossFit. It's not an anti-CrossFit statement, because I still love CrossFit and I love the competition aspect, but we've sort of removed the competition aspect from workouts in general, but
Yeah.
we used to track specifically everybody against everybody else,
Right.
in the workouts. But you can still do that on your own. So, we have benchmark workouts. So something like they just did in the CrossFit Games, they did Helen.
Mm-hmm.
They did a different version of Helen, but which is it's 3 rounds of run, some pull-ups and some kettlebell swings,
Yep.
whatever numbers, doesn't matter. But that's how we do it in the CrossFit world. So you perform this workout,
Mm-hmm.
did it in 20 minutes. 3 months later, you do it again. I did it
Yeah.
in 18 minutes, so
Mhm.
you're improving in that athleticism department. So that's measurable.
Yeah.
So I think when we talk about performance, we think about things that are measurable, like
Mm-hmm.
in that realm.
I think I've done this before, but picking a performance goal, like I want to do better at Fran. And then I don't just do Fran every day, but I'll do, variations of, I'll
Yeah,
do,
right.
I don't pull ups
Mm-hmm.
for strength mixed in, so you're getting better overall, but then you have that like mission. I'm going to test this again in 3 months.
Yeah.
And I've done that with other workouts too. Like,
We
let me
have
just
a couple favorite ones we do.
Colin.
Yeah, Colin's a good one.
Colin.
That's the one with the long sandbag carry and all the other
Yeah.
bullshit. But
It's coming up, by the way.
yes.
It's on our calendar.
Oh no.
I know.
All right. So another one is body composition goals.
Mhm.
A standard thing to worry about is weight. And I'm not as big as fan. I'm not as big a fan of just tracking weight.
Yeah.
Which is why we invested in the in-body scanner.
Mhm.
I like looking at the overall organism and not just the one thing.
It's so deceiving. Weight, because we all know, and you hear this a million times, but muscle weighs more than fat.
Yeah.
So it's like very deceiving, especially like men and women lose weight differently. Our bodies have different compositions. It's
Yeah.
just there's so many factors.
And there's also
It's-
the thing where you come in for the first time and you change your diet and you work out 2 or 3 days a week.
Mhm.
You're gonna lose a lot
Right away.
quickly, but it's not
Mhm.
real weight. It's like, it kind of sounds silly to say water weight, but that's what everybody calls it. I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna have that big spike
Mhm.
of that, and then it's gonna level out.
Right.
And you're gonna be like, well, it stopped. It didn't stop. I mean, you're still recompositioning your body,
Yeah.
So 3 months later, what does your body look like
Yeah.
versus what does the scale necessarily say? Which is
Right.
why I really like the in-body scanner, because it gives you
Mhm.
that holistic look.
Yeah.
Um,
It's kind of freaky. This thing is like it shows like hydration levels, the weight
I don't know
Of
how it does
your-
hydration levels.
of your
I don't
limbs.
want to know.
I mean, it's probably I don't know either.
Pretty weird.
But from what I've seen and read about it, it's extremely accurate.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
And we've got one of the lower end ones. I mean, there are some
High end.
serious high end ones, but
Yeah.
we'll spend that kind of coin on that thing. All right. Skill-based goals. I guess that can kind of go along with the performance things, but let's think about people training, martial arts and stuff like that.
Mhm.
If you're training like karate with us, it kind of comes with built-in goals.
You gotta do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're always learning something new.
But outside of that, it can be, like let's say you're working in a class,
Mhm.
and how good is your technique? Are you landing more techniques? Are you
Mhm.
your technique getting caught less? Stuff like that.
We do a lot of dumbbell stuff in our
Yeah.
classes.
Oh, for sure.
I've been coaching this week, and I've been able to help a couple. I'm like, go grab a barbell.
Yeah.
So we did that last night with a member. I'm like, go grab it. She's like, really? And she got excited. I'm like, she's like, barbell.
I graduated.
So, those are
Little do you know, the barbell's easier.
it really is. Gosh, so much. Once you like just move your knees out of the way,
But
you'll
it
be
can
fine.
get heavy. It can get heavier,
Absolutely. So
which I guess is the point.
and that could be, graduating to the barbell.
That's funny. That's funny you did that. All right. Let's talk about this. This is something I got from Coach Mark Devine a long time ago. And he calls it this. I don't think he did not invent this, but he definitely preaches it, the SMART framework. And I think that's a good way to look at goals, because in my experience, I mean, I've struggled with them too, but people struggle setting goals.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of what the hell is a goal? You know, like what is it? It's like a deadline in a project. It's like just some shit we made up.
Yeah.
I mean, really. Because if
It
you come
is.
in and you're like, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds by November, cool. I mean, why? You know,
Yeah.
you don't know. It's just something you pulled out of your ear, you know. So smart,
Yeah.
specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound.
Mhm.
Because you know, a goal that is unachievable
Mhm.
for whatever reason is not a good goal for you because
I
you're
mean,
not going to get
yeah.
it.
What are your thoughts on, those, like, if you're not shooting for the stars, you'll reach the moon. I mean, what do you think about
Oh,
goals
absolutely.
you're not, like, you can't actually, it's like unrealistic. We've had people come in, they're like, I want to lose 50 pounds by my wedding date in 3 months. We're like, that doesn't sound safe.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's cool. I think as long as you go into it and you're aware of what you're doing,
Hmm.
because you're manipulating the goal framework. You're manipulating it.
You're trying to skip.
Yeah.
Trying to skip.
Well, that, or the concept of like, if I set my goal high and I'm, that's my trajectory, and I know I won't get there, but missing that goal still puts me at a higher level of
Mhm.
not doing anything. Like, I believe in that.
Hey,
I mean, I do.
sometimes something's
long as
better
you
than
know it.
nothing. That's right. That's true.
As long as you know what you're doing.
Right.
And I think going through these things can help you understand that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't dismiss that. I mean, I've done that too, but so specific,
Hmm.
measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. So specific. A specific goal is clearly defined and focuses on a particular outcome. It answers the what, why, and how of your goal. A specific goal provides clarity and eliminates ambiguity, making it easier to understand and work towards. Right. So something very specific. It can be weight. It can be any of, like, we're talking about fitness. It's, participation, performance, body composition, skill based. Like, it can be any of those things.
I have an example.
Cool.
I want to be able to run a 15-minute mile or less by December.
Mhm.
That's achievable for a
Mhm.
lot of people, I think.
I think so too.
So,
And that is a lot more applied than
Mhm.
I want to run faster.
right. You have a goal,
Yeah.
and maybe you run like a 18.5-minute mile now.
Yeah. I like it.
It's doable. You got what, 3 months? Totally doable.
I like it. The example I wrote down was instead of saying like, get in shape, which is, I think, what, lose
Does
weight.
in shape mean? Yeah.
Yeah. It's being specific would be
Yeah.
saying, I want to lose 10 pounds.
Mhm.
Like you're saying, I want to do this thing in particular
Yeah.
with my running.
And how are you going to do that? Which
Yeah.
we're going to get into.
Yeah. Measurable.
Love it.
So a measurable goal is one that can be quantified or tracked.
Hmm.
It involves defining concrete criteria for success so you can measure your progress and determine when you've achieved your goal. Right. So, like we were talking about, like your Fran time.
Hmm.
That's a very CrossFitty example.
It is. Let's go back to the mile. Let's go to the mile example. People don't know what
Fran
is very much like a CrossFitty
is.
benchmark.
The rep scheme, was it 3 rounds? 21. Let me see how good I am. 21,
Mhm.
15, 9 pull-ups and thrusters.
Yes.
Boom.
That's it.
Look at that.
Yep.
Look, it's like
I think it's thrusters, pull-ups, actually.
Oh, he got me on the order. Does it matter?
Some lady finished that in like 150 this year, by the way.
That's not
I watched it. It was incredible.
a goal that I'm going to set.
Oh no, no. I'm happy with like 7.5 minutes.
That's a crazy Fran time.
It was incredible.
But yeah, the point is, you've got your goal of running faster, right? I forget what you said already, but
15
whatever.
minutes.
15-minute mile. So you set some measurable milestones, right? You set, like, your first goal is to, like, well, I mean, the first thing you have to do is find out how fast your mile is.
Maybe you have to start running.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
it could be.
Yep.
Maybe
couch
a lot
to
of people,
5K.
a lot of people can probably walk a 20, maybe a little over 20-minute mile, probably.
Right. So start there.
So start there.
Yeah. How do I get to 19?
Yeah.
And then how do I get to 18?
And then maybe,
and what days am I trying to do that in?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you got to make it measurable, right? And write it down, like track it, like that. That's I'm a little OCD.
Yeah. How do you track your stuff that you do?
I'm a little OCD.
No.
I have a website that I built.
What, really? You've never told me this before.
Every single workout that I've ever done, I put on there
Oh my
since
gosh.
2012.
That's incredible.
Every class I've taught too, because I have goals for teaching
Uh-huh.
classes, not just taking them. Yeah, it's not OCD. What is it? CDO. But
That's awesome. I think that's
I don't
great.
know how awesome it is. But I used to
Yeah.
keep, and I still do. I have spreadsheets of like,
Uh-huh.
my deadlift and what date I did it in and how, I don't do max lifts anymore. I kind of hurt myself a couple years ago and I kind of laid off the max lifts, but
Yeah.
for the record, a max lift can be a 1 rep max,
hmm
but it can also be how many times can I lift something 5 times?
Sure.
And that's a much
Yeah.
lighter weight and you're a
Yeah.
little bit safer.
Well, when I'm working with personal training, she has a deadlift, back squat goal,
yeah.
and a shoulder press goal.
hmm
So we work on that.
Does she know that she has the goal
Mhm.
or are you keeping the goal for her as
She
a
has the
coach?
goal.
Okay, awesome.
We hit what she wanted to hit last time, like last month. So now she's like, all right, in three months, maybe we can get 5% better.
That's cool.
So we have very specific goals.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming they're based around some other things that she said, like I want to get stronger or
Yeah,
whatever.
She's not interested in, in this particular instance, she's not interested in like physique or,
Right, sure.
she happens to look better because of, she's like, "Heather, I'm getting comments about how,"
It's a fringe benefit.
I'm like, that's what happens when
CrossFit,
you,
yeah.
So she's seeing the outside kind of come with what she's getting really strong. So,
Awesome.
but that's what she wants. She wanted to be strong.
There you go. That's how you get there.
Yeah.
Achievable. An achievable goal is realistic and attainable based on your current resources, skills, and circumstances. It ensures that your goal is challenging enough to motivate you, but not so unrealistic.
I'm reading your example.
I think this is something, like winning a championship belt.
I mean, we've had people like that walk off the street and like I want to do a boxing match and win a belt. Like, have you ever fought before? No, but I've watched it on TV.
Or I want a UFC.
Right. I want to go into UFC.
I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. So this is something that a third party can help you with. A positive thinking role model, mentor, friend, whatever can help you with this, can sort of help you level set. And we're using the word achievable because it fits in the word smart, but we're really talking about level setting. And your example of, I will tell you right now, if you come in and talk to me and you tell me you want to win not even a championship, that you want to have a pro amateur fight.
Yeah.
I will say, come to every fight class we have for a month.
And then
we'll talk about your goal.
Yeah.
Because I've never had anyone actually come every fight class for a month.
I've done that to people who want to do bodybuilding with me. I'm like, okay, come to classes,
12 classes,
3 days a week for 2 months straight.
Yeah.
And then maybe,
we
can talk about it, because what bodybuilding
that's your first goal. Yeah.
That's your first goal. You can't do that. You're not gonna be able to eat 1,000 calories a day for 3 months and work out 3 hours a day. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I spent time with you when you were doing that. It was not pleasant. You were pleasant.
Was
you were
I?
Very nice. No, you weren't. Kind of.
I was not. I was miserable.
I know you were.
I was miserable, but I did it.
I know you were. Okay, relevant. A relevant goal is aligned with your values, aspirations, and long-term objectives. It ensures that your goal contributes to your overall growth and is meaningful within the context of your life or organization.
Love that.
Yeah. So, like if you're not interested in the thing, then it's probably not going to fit,
Yeah.
Like if you want to, here's the stupid example, but if you want to get better at running, you want to run a 15-minute mile, you probably shouldn't start setting bike riding goals. It's not applicable. You need to be running. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of a dumb one, but you want to make it relevant.
Well, I've seen that where people have not even expressed any interest, want to do something, and I'm like, are you just in it because it looks cool, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not. That's fine, but you have to at least want to like what you want to do.
You've got to like what you do.
Hence the bodybuilding thing.
You got to enjoy it.
Right.
So that's kind of an obvious one, I think, but sticking with that SMART framework.
Yeah.
The other one is pretty important, time bound. A time-bound goal has a specific deadline or time frame for completion. It adds a sense of urgency and prevents procrastination, allowing you to stay focused and motivated. In karate, we have a guiding principle that directly applies to this, and that is that karate is like boiling water. Without heat, it returns to its tepid state. So if you think about that, it's very true. I mean, you can interpret that many ways, but you can apply it to this. And I like that idea of setting a time to something.
Yeah.
Anytime I've ever wanted to get back into running or whatever, I've always picked a race.
I was going to give that example. That's the easiest thing to.
It really is, because there's 5Ks
not,
every damn weekend. But
there really are, from August to December.
Yeah.
Races all the time. But yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah. Very straightforward.
You know. And if you do the kind of workouts we do, I could see getting ready for the Open.
The Open is a great. We've done that. I mean, did we do it this year?
We did not.
Ooh.
Well, we were both kind of both like, because of how they restructured it again.
Yeah, I don't want to go into a whole.
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast. But like, yeah, I think that is a
Dave
great.
Castro's back.
I will do it next year.
Yeah,
I will do it next year.
Yeah,
because of that.
But
that's a great.
The Open is a good one.
Yeah.
But not only that, but like hero workouts. We do some of those every once in a while, and we'll let everybody know we're going to do one and stuff. Show up for those.
Yeah.
You know, those are you're going to know, maybe not. I mean, you kind of have to ask, I guess, but I mean, those are ones to show up for. Your goals are going to be a little shorter, like week long type things, but they can really help you see where you are overall. That's kind of a tangent, but yeah, that SMART framework. I like that SMART framework. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. Anytime you're trying to achieve something, run it through that filter. You know, and it's real fast. I mean, you don't have to spend 30 minutes trying to figure something out, but make sure you can do it. Make sure it's something you want to do, and pick a day when you're going to do it.
There you go.
I mean, there you go, right?
Yep.
I think I had a section here, but I think we kind of went through some of that stuff. Let's talk about the overcoming challenges, right? Particularly plateaus or injuries.
Yeah.
And I know you've achieved both. I mean, you've kind of gone through both. I mean, we all have.
Yeah. Yeah. All the time.
Let's start with
all the time.
Let's start with like a plateau. How do you? Let's set the stage. Let's say you've set some goals, some fitness goals, and you've hit them. You know, like you've done 3 or 4 things and you've hit them, and then you kind of like maybe don't set goals and you just keep showing up,
maintaining or
whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, have you ever experienced something like that?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started doing like the kind of workouts we do, like you mentioned about dropping weight fast, like I gained skills and strength really fast.
Yeah, like
the base, you know. But over the past like 7 or 8 years, it's been like a very slow, steady. And then what I do, I mean, personally, is like I find times to push. And like when I have a goal, like getting ready for a test or, you know, getting ready for Murph, or I set something and I'm like, all right, Heather, the next 3 months, I'm going to just like train my ass off to prepare for this, because I can't personally, my body, I can't do that. I can't do that all the time. Right. I just can't. Like just playing volleyball, I've been like an athlete. Like I've been getting injuries, and, you know, I need to take my recovery more seriously. And that's something we're going to talk about in here, but you have to be smart about it. Right. And that's why the whole SMART thing I think is really important, because to me, you know, I might pick a goal to do the Open next year. I'm like, all right, so starting like October, I need to start pushing again. You know, does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And that way I give my time, you know, my hip to heal. Like
you can perform while you're doing it. Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to just push through an injury. That's stupid. Like I'm not going to the CrossFit Games. I'm doing this to just, you know, for fun.
Right. Although we've paid and submitted them before. We've done that a couple times. That was fun.
It was fun.
You have to record it and stuff. You know what's funny? I was just having this conversation with Thomas, my son, my oldest son, yesterday. He's been working on some goals all summer, and he got his deadlift. His deadlift is now like 385. I only remember this stuff because I just talked to him.
Yeah.
But he wants 410.
Yeah.
And it took him all summer to get 385. And I
Mhm.
was like, that's very good. But the what do you call it? The chasm between 385, 390 to 400
Yes.
is going to take you way longer than it took you
Yep.
to get to 385.
Right.
So that's kind of what you're talking about, where
Absolutely.
you're going to get to these goals and then it's like, all right, well,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
next ones take a lot of work.
Yes.
And you
Yeah.
know, you might need a coach to help you figure some of that out
Yeah.
so you don't get burned out, like
Correct.
banging your head against the wall because
And
I just can't get it. And it's like, well,
injured and like
yeah,
it's just not.
I mean, very few people get to that 410 mark.
Yeah.
That's a heavy, you know,
Yeah.
that's a heavy one. And you don't just walk in and do that. You know, you have to work for it.
Right.
What about injuries?
Mm-hmm.
you
I've had plenty of injuries in my time. I know you have too.
yeah.
What about injuries, Gene?
They suck.
They do suck.
But I will tell
They do
you,
suck.
I've seen a lot of people get an injury and then just kind of not do it, kind of stop.
Well, they don't do anything.
Or
That's the
usually my problem is I try to train through it.
Yes, that part too.
But what seems to work most, I don't have personal experience by doing it, but I've seen people do it, is to train around it.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, you hurt your ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's still things you can do. You know, you can still dial in your nutrition.
You can still do shoulder presses and bicep curls. And
There you go.
curls
I knew you go straight there.
Abs and
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah, get to arm strength. Like, you know, you can
Yeah.
move that stuff around, but
Sure.
there's still other things that you can
Yeah.
put that energy and focus into and keep your habits intact.
Yeah.
Um,
It's hard when you experience an injury.
Yeah, and it's why we tell people that to come in anyway, and just if you just come in and stretch, because I know that
Yeah.
you break that cycle of.
Yep.
And I'm
That
thinking about
habit.
morning people getting up and coming in the
Right.
morning. Like, it only takes one or two of those.
Yep. And you're off track.
Even for me, I coach the classes, but if I go on vacation for 2 weeks and then coming back to that first 5 a.m., it's like I start questioning my life.
Right.
Like,
That's
who would buy this gym? You know, like it's that level. But then you go through one or two and you're like, whatever, you're back in it.
yeah.
But just skipping can make you.
It's hard. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's okay to switch. It's okay to switch goals too. I mean, I've had injuries where I tailor the workout to what I can do. Like the year I was getting ready for Murph and I busted my ankle. I had a skateboard under my foot doing rowing.
I think I have a picture of that somewhere.
You know, you find a way to make it work. And turns out I have better mobility in that ankle than I do my right ankle because I did so much rehab on it. But doing pistols and things like that,
Kinda weird.
squats, it's kind of strange. Maybe like loosen something up in there. I don't know.
Maybe.
But that's okay to like pivot too. It
Mhm.
sucks to have to change your goal, but you can modify things. Like say you want to do the open next year and then you have an injury before that, still do it.
Right.
Just change maybe some of the movements and things like that. It's
Mhm.
just, you know,
For
it's
sure,
gonna be
man.
okay.
Yeah. All right. Strategies for goal achievement.
Mhm.
Nutrition and recovery. So I just want to break these down
Yeah.
in the realm of fitness. Again, I think a lot of these apply even outside of the fitness approach or whatever we're doing here, but these are specific to that.
Hmm.
Fueling your body properly, I think, is one of the things we have to take care of if we're setting physical, fitness, health goals. We have to work on that.
Hmm.
You can't outrun you can't outrun a bad diet.
Can't outwork.
You can't outwork
out a bad, something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, you have to fix that. And it's not just about, I mean, if we're getting technical, it's not just about limiting calories. I mean,
No.
if you're working hard, you need to have the right balance.
Yeah.
I know that's one of your big things with people.
Balance. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard you tell people you're not eating enough.
All the time.
Yeah.
And I do that myself, especially in the summertime when it's so hot here.
Yeah.
You don't feel like eating. For me, like I lose my appetite. I'm just like, ugh, like food,
But
you have to figure it out. But
particularly if your goals are strength based.
that for sure. Or even just like I mean, you can tell when people are not doing what they need to do.
Mhm.
You can't, you do a workout with some like fun, like you can't You
Yeah.
can't hide it very.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty clear what you're doing and what
Yeah.
you're not doing.
You
So
die 8 minutes into a 25-minute workout.
yeah, it's not good. Yeah.
Or you're not getting the second thing here, which is sleep.
Yes.
Which
Gosh.
more people now, 6 years later, after going into this, world that we're in with the gym that we have, are suffering from not sleeping the right way, like as much as they should.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you struggle with sleep?
Mm-mm.
I don't.
I do not.
I do not struggle with sleep.
When I'm on my game and I'm eating well and working out hard, I sleep I wake up a lot because I pee a lot. I drink a lot of water.
Yeah, I mean,
Good problem to have.
yeah, a lot of people do that too. But
I do wake up. I have some sleep apnea sometimes, depending on things.
Yeah.
So I literally hold my breath, which is not good. I need to see a sleep doctor about that. But falling asleep never been a problem for me.
yeah, I can fall asleep anywhere.
Oh, that I can't do. But my bed, once I get right,
Oh man,
I'm out.
I'm the
I'm
bed,
out.
the couch, the chair, the driving. It doesn't matter. I fall right asleep.
Thinking you have a self-driving car, right?
It does well, a little bit. So yeah, that's a new realm, but that's something you definitely. I know a
Mhm.
lot of people struggle with that. There's lots of things to try.
Yeah.
But it is also something to build goals and
Mhm.
to fit into your plan. So make sure you're fitting the fueling in there and
Yeah.
the sleep into your plan.
And I would say we have a thing with our environment where we celebrate those who have too much to do.
Oof, yeah.
As in taking time for yourself to eat well, to sleep enough.
Yeah, man.
We celebrate those who are like, I work 20 hours a day.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
don't-
mean?
yeah,
We hear that
It's
as
not good.
people in the gym. I'm like, I don't care.
It's not good.
That's fine. Just don't push it on other people because it's not how we're supposed to be. I think you made a post the other day. Like, we're not supposed to be sitting at our desk for 15 hours a day
Right.
on the sofa watching
Oof,
TV,
I
3
know.
hours of TV every night.
It's not good.
Not good.
I think about that. I think about how many screens that I just move my face between.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this screen, the TV screen, the iPhone screen, the
Right.
screen in my car. Like, I think I spend more percentage of my day
Yeah.
in front of a screen than I do not.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I try to actively not do.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to do, but it's all about that balance,
And
right?
I think that affects your sleep.
There's proof that you're
Yeah.
looking at a bright screen. That's why I had blue blockers and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
to
I have
help.
those glasses, the
Yeah.
light blocker glasses and stuff. But
My phone and laptop are timed to start blocking out blue
really?
3 hours before
Oh, wow.
bedtime. I have to do
Cool.
that when I was campaigning because I'd be
Oh,
not
yeah.
bragging, but I was working a lot during that time, and
Yeah.
I had to do my shit and then go to bed.
Yeah.
So I couldn't have that bright screen in my face.
So I don't die.
It's like
Yeah.
tracks bugs. It's so damn bright. So
real,
you have to you have to do everything you got to do to make sure you get enough sleep. Yeah.
All right. We're still in the strategies for goal achievement, tracking and celebrating. I think, those are cool. I mean, give yourself you're doing all this work. Like, first off, you should do all this work and track. You should be writing it down. Like, if your goal is 3 days a week, make a little thing on the calendar and check that bad boy off. And then when you get a whole month of 3 days in a week, you should celebrate that somehow. I used to give out stickers.
Oh, yeah. What happened to the stickers?
I gave them all out.
The
I need
stickies.
to make new stickers. But
we need to redo.
love the stickers.
Let's brainstorm about that.
Yeah, we need to make stickers.
Okay.
But whatever you need.
Yeah. It's important to do.
Yeah, you should celebrate that. You did good.
Yeah.
Don't just beat yourself up when you don't make your goal. I mean, I think it's probably more beneficial to focus on, enjoying the positives
What
than
you
to
have
just
done.
beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Part of that negative self-talk stuff.
I added this part to it.
Somebody wants new stickers. We got a comment in here. I'm game for new stickers.
Okay, cool.
Put it out in the universe. That's the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell your friends.
Yeah.
Put it on the old Facebook.
Whatever
Let
you gotta
people know
do.
I'm running a race and I'm going to try to do it in 40 minutes or whatever.
That's right. You got to put it out in the world. Put it out in the universe. Write it down.
Yeah.
You'll be less likely to back out of it, in my opinion.
Pay money for something.
Pay money. Money is a big motivator.
What do they call that? Skin in the game.
Skin in the game.
Need some skin in the game.
How many free memberships have we given out?
You always do that. You're like, can can we do this thing where we give a certificate away at this thing I'm doing? I'm like, yes, because no one will ever come. Use it.
We did last one.
How many do we give
one
out a
person
year?
came one time.
I think we probably do like one a month.
Just about. Probably
And-
averages out to that.
And no one ever comes.
Mm-mm.
They never. Only once have we
Yeah.
had someone come in for one class, and I don't understand it. If you gave me a free
So
month of shit from somewhere, I would go use it.
This takes me back to when I was a kid. We put a couple bikes out in the front yard, said free. The bikes were operating. They were just really old, whatever. We didn't have room in the garage. And then they sat there overnight for like a week. Nothing.
Yeah.
We put $15 each. They were gone overnight. You put a value to something, and that it's a mental thing. Plus, we want our money. We respect our money. You know?
Well, yeah. We had a Facebook user. Sorry, your name's not showing up. I guess you got to connect it or whatever. But small milestones to make the big ones seems more achievable.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Hey, it's like
reverse engineer it, break it down.
When I coach classes, you know, especially when they were doing the planks the other day in class, I was like 5-minute intervals, people. That's what you're doing right now.
Right.
It's 5 seconds. Oh, sorry. 5 seconds at a time.
Yeah.
5 seconds at a time. You can do this for 5 more seconds. 5 more seconds.
Yeah, 5 minutes. I don't know.
Oh, I mean,
no, it depends on
some
what you're
lady
doing.
just hit a goal of like 4 hours holding a plank.
That's
not a goal
awesome.
of mine. Not a goal of mine, but very cool.
I love that. Did you ever see the I'm not gonna bust on Army people. I love our military, but he was like the push-up challenge. Like he set the record for push-ups, but it was like little frog hoppy, like me.
Oh, really?
He did like 1,000 of them or something, but it was like I don't know that you actually did a single rep.
Interesting.
So make sure you're doing
the real
your
thing.
movements properly.
Please and thank you.
Your coaches make fun of you, and it's important. All right. Building mental resilience. And I think this is probably where we go off the rails by not hitting our goals. Like, I think this is one of the main culprits.
Yeah.
Is your brain.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could just say, I'm going to go 5 days a week and turn my brain off and just do it, you'd be ahead of probably 90% of people.
Pretty much. I hear a lot about being sore, or, you know, one, you're probably not fueling properly,
right,
not drinking enough water, not recovering right. But even when you are, just show up and just do body weight. You know, just do something.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that, yeah, I can't do something, so therefore I do nothing.
I don't. Yeah, that's not a good mentality for you.
Yeah, I'm not busting on it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, you know, you really need to do something. You got to overcome that. That's one I hear, and I know it's easier said than done, but you have to start somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere.
Yes,
and a lot of people use stress as an excuse.
Yes,
you know, and here's how it can kind of go: stressed at work, can't sleep, didn't come in. Like, that's probably the most common one.
Yeah.
And I just told someone the other day that was telling me something like that. I was like, look, you need to come in and work out 2 days in a row, and then you won't miss sleep. Because you'll be so tired.
Exactly.
You will sleep. And then there you go. You'll bust out of that cycle.
I will say it's also about, kind of goes on to the next one, like positive self-talk and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's also about who you hang out with.
Yeah.
Like, if you have friends who poo-poo that, or they want you to come out and go do happy hour instead of going to the gym, or
yeah, that's an interesting one, and
things like that.
I think you were doing some work. This was 3 or 4 years ago, and I'd never heard this until you. I think I'm going to say you uncovered it for me, but was how family members can sort of, let's say you're you're changing your diet, you're changing the way you eat and take in calories, but your family isn't, and you don't want to eat the food that they make, or the food that they pay for, or the food that they've taken part in, and they will sort of guilt you, like you're too good to eat the food we have, or you don't like me because you don't like that's something you might have to overcome, particularly in that realm. That's
a huge cultural.
It's bigger than I thought it was.
For some families, it's like part of their family is like food is very important to a lot of families.
Yeah.
So,
it's one to pay attention to.
Yeah,
you have to navigate.
And I mean, I don't have that personally, but it can, unless I'm like going out with friends and I have bad choices I can make.
Right. Right.
But yeah, imagine being, maybe a young adult and you're living with your parents and you're trying to imagine Thomas and maybe say you and your wife like ate just fast food every night.
Right.
And Tom's like, hey, I'm trying to do this thing. And you're like, oh, what do you think?
Yeah.
But he doesn't have the resources to do what he needs to do.
Yeah. He has
So
to eat what we have.
right. It's kind of tough. So it could be a tough situation for folks. Or if you live in a, nuclear family, it can be tough. So
It can. That's one.
yeah.
So yeah, also you were going into that visualization and positive
Mhm.
self-talk. I think it's important to as you're setting goals for yourself. I don't know if you want to create a little mantra or a thing to say, or you
Mhm.
can repeat that thing like,
Yeah.
this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it, this is who I'm doing it for.
Mhm.
In the SEALs they talk about it's your why. What's your
Mhm.
why? I think it's important.
Yeah.
But and along with that is the little thing that you tell yourself or whatever, and keep it positive.
Mhm.
I can fall into that too. I know a lot of people do.
Mhm.
And I like argue with people sometimes because they're like, well, I sucked at that. That was terrible. Like, well, you did like,
You actually did it.
yeah, like you did pretty
Yeah.
well, and they'll, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if you treated other people the way you treated yourself,
Yes.
you probably would get into a lot of fights.
I'm telling you, I think I made a video about this one, but the way you talk about yourself is so important. And one of my last big goals I was going through, I would actually write on the mirror I would get ready in, like the countdown of the days I had left with a marker. And so I saw
Right.
it every morning. I'm like, all right, 45 days, 30 days. It was actually up to like the 200s
Yeah.
at one time.
Crazy.
And every day, and there would be days I got so busy working towards that goal, I forgot to mark it down. I'm like, oh shoot, I get to mark off 5 days. Because you just get, you're into it and
Yeah,
you just forget, you
Yeah.
lose track of time kind of, which is in my opinion, you're in the zone. You're kind of,
that's definitely in the zone.
it's a good film. Like, oh, crap, yeah, this is
Yeah.
mark it down.
It feels good.
Feels really good. Yeah.
I dig it. We got a couple questions. What we're going to do is we're almost to the end of this little list of things that we made, and we'll answer some questions.
Okay.
So we've gotten
Yeah.
a couple of good ones.
Cool.
Cultivating a supportive environment. If you like come to the gym, I mean, that's what we're there for.
Yeah.
If you don't have one, find one. And I don't mean, and I'm not pooping on it. Okay, I'm going to poop on it. I don't mean Planet Fitness, because you are by yourself.
Yeah, it's just still by yourself.
Or
there.
a 24/7 fit, like you're still by yourself. And again, I don't just mean hire a coach. I mean, a coach is going to be positive with you because it's their job, but it's about the community. It's about finding those people to be around.
Yeah.
To share the same goals and outlook as you. It's important. Excuse me. So yeah, leverage your gym, leverage our gym, group workouts, challenges, a battle buddy. I think they call it in the Army. Like get that friend. I mean, I've seen that where people.
Yeah.
I know. I think it's the 5 a.m. group. They have a Facebook. I'm not even part of it, which is kind of cool. Yeah,
that's awesome.
They have like a Facebook group where they're like always calling each other out or something. I don't know. I'm not in it, but
I love that.
It's very cool. So that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and every gym is structured differently. They create their own environment.
Well,
so
there are apps like whatever thing you've got. Like
That's
I know
true.
the watches have like groups, and
Yep.
I sound like an old guy. I'm like the watches have a group, but you know what I mean.
This phone you can use.
You know
to
what I
do
mean.
Things. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the last one is work with your coaches.
Listen to your coaches. Listen to your coaches, please. We know what we're doing. We've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, but get a coach. I mean, you if you take some time, go through that process and write down some goals, and you feel good about them. A coach or a mentor, or someone that's going to help hold you accountable.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that goes around it. Not just hey, go get a coach, but like I mean, put some skin in the game. Invest in it.
Ask us for help. I was working with a lady last night. I'm like, hey, stop me when I'm in here and just ask me to work with you.
Right.
And she's like, oh, I can do that. I was like, of course. Like, just ask me. So yeah. And group classes are great. If you want to do personal training, it's something we do too.
Yep.
I love the training. The people I've been training with, they've seen major goals, and for them, they like group classes, but they have a very specific goal. Like my client who wants to do, a
Right.
250-pound deadlift or whatever. So very specific,
Yeah.
and the classes will help you get there. But now we're working on technique. We're working on like really like
Yeah.
nitpicky
Yeah.
stuff that we'll spend 20 minutes, talking about how to get the bar over your knees.
Right. A group class setting, maybe not.
It's not
appropriate for.
yeah.
Not
Yeah.
everybody's doing the same thing.
Right.
Cool. Anything else? We covered a lot of stuff.
We did.
45 minutes there was what I wanted. So
write them down. Take a stab at this, and then like reach out. And I know we geek out about this, so we would be
that's why we
happy. That's why we do this. We'd be more than happy
Yeah.
to talk with you about it. But
love it.
yeah.
All right, let's get in some Q&A. All right, we've got
Yeah,
one
cool.
here. I'm gonna pop up here. Again, sorry, no name there, but when you do go out, this is talking back about, I guess, going out with friends and stuff.
Yeah.
When you do go out, how do you minimize potential bad choices? You eat something beforehand so you don't go all out with the bad stuff.
I do that sometimes. I will eat, and also to save money. I'll do that. Like I'll eat like a small meal. Then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get an appetite, like a
You really?
splurge on yeah, I have before. Then I'll like splurge on an appetizer, and then I'm like, I'm gonna have 2 drinks,
Huh.
and then like make sure I'm Ubering home or whatever. But yeah, I'm kind of weird about that. I do plan that out. Like I look at the menu first too, and I used to do it with people back.
Yeah.
This is like back in the beginning of the gym, but
Yeah.
I'd have people reach out to me like, "Hey Heather, I'm going here Friday night with friends. Will you take a look at the menu for me?" And like, how would you process that? Because I think you can eat pretty decent anywhere you go, even if it's McDonald's.
You can.
You can make choices. They're not the best,
Mhm.
but you can make better choices.
Yeah.
And then there's instances
course.
where it's like a Friday night, you've been doing great all week. I'm like, eat whatever you want to eat.
Right. The
Like-
psychology of the cheat meal.
Absolutely.
We won't get into that one, but
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. But I mean, that's also part of it too. So
Yeah.
it depends on where you're going.
yeah. And let me add this too. I've told people this recently on 2 occasions, I think in the past month, who are tracking calories.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever. But
Yeah.
you're tracking calories.
Mhm.
It's not, and I'm not saying this so that you splurge.
Yeah.
It's not the calories necessarily every day.
Yeah.
Look at that, but also look at the week.
Yeah.
Like look at that 7-day total,
Mhm.
because there's a 7-day total of calories.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
are you on that 7 days?
Right.
Right. So that's just something, the
Yeah, because
little free coaching there.
you may fast until noon one day and
Right,
you miss a whole
right.
meal.
Or like most people do really great Monday through Friday. And then, it's
It's like
130,000
binge fest for 3
calories
days
Saturday,
straight.
Sunday. That's
Right.
usually my problem. That's what I do. So you need to look at the 7-day total as well.
Yeah.
Almost as important as the 1-day total.
Yeah, it's the overall, not the one thing. Definitely.
All right. This is going to show us because I copied it and pasted it in there. What steps should I take if I find it difficult to measure progress for a particular goal? Oof.
I need more specificity.
That's a
what are you talking
technical
about?
question, I guess.
What you talking about? Give me
I
a
don't know.
specific.
Let's say, what steps should I take if I find it difficult to measure progress for a particular goal? I would say if you set a goal and you can't figure out how to measure achieving that goal, then perhaps the goal is,
Not a smart goal.
yeah.
I mean, if you
Keep
can't
it-
measure it,
Let's
yeah.
use another one. Was
Yeah.
the KISS principle. Keep it simple, silly. Keep it simple, stupid.
I'd be curious if this person could share what they're trying to measure.
Yeah. I think it,
You could just tell us. We're not telling your name, but I'm very curious to see what that might be.
Yeah,
Maybe we
yeah.
can help.
yeah, I'm copying and pasting these in from somewhere
Okay.
else, but I would say that I think that probably your goal is a little too ambiguous, or maybe it's
Mhm.
too big. Is probably what it is. You need to run it through that process again, or
Mhm.
break it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Or
it's
find
probably too
something
big of a project.
that, or find something within that goal,
Yeah,
like a smaller piece within that goal that you could
yeah.
track.
And again, this was sent in a couple days ago, so
Okay.
look at that SMART process.
Yeah.
Hit us back up if you look at that and it doesn't work for you.
I would love to see what they're trying to do, personally.
Me too. All right. How do you recommend adjusting my goals if circumstances change unexpectedly? I think we covered some of that.
Mm-hmm.
An unexpected change, like maybe an injury.
Yeah. Or maybe some family stuff came up, or, there's a issue in the family. I mean, a plethora of things, right?
Yeah.
I would say first, it's okay. If something comes up, I mean, like I was going to test in March. I'm like, I'm in the middle of session. I'm working full time.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like,
and we talked about it. We moved it.
Yeah. And you have to be okay with that. I didn't stop training.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it the intensity I need. I just didn't.
Right.
I literally couldn't do it.
Right. The time frame.
My
didn't work.
responsibilities. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that was okay. I didn't quit. I just had to change my timeline.
Yeah.
And then you have to be okay with that. Now, if it's something like do or die, then you're gonna have to have a real tough conversation with yourself. Like, what has to go. But it's okay. If it's an injury, I would say it's okay. Change your goal.
Yeah, and part of your goal might be recovering from said injury.
That's mine right now.
Yeah.
Mine is
it's important.
keep moving, but doing lighter weight, mobility,
But that's the
physical
thing.
therapy, those types of things.
It's it's like, oh hey, I had these goals and then I got hurt, and so therefore screw my goal. No, it's now your goal is recovering from that injury. It's doing those things that the people you go to tell you you need to do to fix that injury.
Right.
Those are the things that you push your energy into, that then gets you down the road. I think I just repeated what you said. Let's see here. Are there any specific tools or apps that you suggest for tracking and managing goals? Do you do any of that?
I have a physical notebook that I write stuff down in.
You do? I thought it was cool when I saw that. I didn't read it, but I saw it.
I do that, and then I also track it in our gym app as well.
Oh, you use that?
Yeah, and all my data came over from the previous app we had, and
Okay.
so I have. Oh my! How long have we been using that? Over 6 years of data of my past workouts.
Isn't that crazy?
So it is kind of cool to go back and see. I'm like, oh, wow, I've done this workout like 5 times. It's sucked every time.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
remember, actually, I remember
Yep.
I remember that day it was raining or whatever. Yeah, I personally like a physical thing. Now I've done before when I was doing a Olympic weight training with Dan, actually. And it was down to like the 0.5 pounds. And I'm
Right.
like, I can't. So we had a spreadsheet with
Right.
with calculations in it and shit to know what was 70% at any given time, and
that gets technical.
that. But if it's a technical goal, you're gonna have to do that. Get that level of technicality. Right
There are
now,
apps for that, yeah, for sure.
minor, higher level goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a notebook. I have a spreadsheet.
I want to see the spreadsheet.
I haven't used a spreadsheet in quite some time. I need to dig it up. And then I have I use Lose It, and we tell our clients to use Lose It if you're doing calories. I like that one the best. Yeah, there are lots of apps. I mean, I don't know that I have any kind of app in particular that I really love, because they're all kind of the same. But
They are. Just look different.
I would say go low tech.
I agree.
I will tell you too, I've busted many phones, and it gives me anxiety when I see someone in the gym lifting and their phone is like right next to them on the floor. And I'm like, and I know you're using it for whatever, but I'm like, you're going to drop some shit on that phone.
Yeah.
And it's going to be bad.
I mean,
It makes me a little nervous.
Unless you're trying to break your phone and get a new one. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't have as much of a it's kind of like journaling for me.
Yeah.
I like paper books.
I do too.
So I have like a kind of, maybe it's like an emotional
I like
attachment.
analog,
Maybe
man. I like writing stuff
So
down.
I do too. There's something about putting it down on paper or something that just makes you feel, I don't know. It just
burns it in your brain better.
It does, yeah.
All right. What advice are you seeing these two? I'm just curious.
In the chat, yeah, I can see yours.
Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm just pasting these in because these came in emails and texts and stuff. What advice do you have for balancing multiple goals, both in my professional and fitness pursuits? You probably think about who sent that one in. Yeah, I don't know, man. Luck.
Oh, gosh.
No, be very. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
I think you have to look. So the whole thing is trying to achieving a goal
Mm-hmm.
means readjusting your life so that it puts it in the path of that thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Walking the path. That's what we call it, walking the path, the way.
Yeah.
You know, like you whatever it is, you're breaking it down, you're building these small habits. And it
Mhm.
could be just getting to your class is the hardest thing. But one of the reasons I'm all over the place, so sorry.
No.
One of the
Let's track
reasons
it.
I really like big hero wads, because early on it taught me that the preparation for that actually starts the day before or maybe 2 days before,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it taught me, like, if I want to do Murph,
Mm-hmm.
everybody here knows what Murph is. If I want to do Murph, I can't just get up at 5 in the morning and go do Murph. It will put me in the hospital. So you have to drink the right amount of water. You have
Right.
to eat the right thing the day before.
Mhm.
You have to make sure you go to bed early, right? So, in fact, that day spent doing Murph
Mhm.
started 24 hours prior.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not a crazy person, I suppose that's an approach too. You just show up and do it.
I've
I've
seen
done
plenty of
that,
people try to
and
do
I've paid
that.
the price. But
Yes.
it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
If getting to your class every day is the thing you're struggling with, you need to look at the chain of events that leads you to not making that class, and those are the things. Those are the things that become your goal to fix.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like we said, you just come to class, we'll take care of the rest. But getting there might be the problem. What is that? Is it that you can't go to bed? Is it that you're whatever? There's someone in your way. Like, I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
like those are the things you have to start working on. So um, it's not just the fitness, that is also professional. So, you got to kind of mix that stuff together, man. It's the same effort.
It is. And to me, like, I'll just show this is my schedule in April. I had literally everything
Oof.
scheduled
That-
down to like
That gives me anxiety.
it was a lot. And that's why like
I don't like it.
I was going to test that. I'm like, there's absolutely no way I can do that. But I had literally
Oof.
I had my schedule. If you're extremely goal oriented in your professional life and your physical, personal physical fitness life,
Mhm.
like I am, I schedule everything out. Like I have booked to go into the gym every Saturday or Sunday morning. I have my personal training client that I get at least an hour and a half in, and then I do an hour of yoga, and then I spend that afternoon 2 hours looking at emails, and so I have literally everything scheduled out for the most part.
Mhm. That I
So
don't like it.
scheduling scheduling is, if it's not on my schedule sometimes it's not going to happen. So for me, I have to put in very specific times.
Yeah.
Like I have booked off even on my work calendar, working out and karate. Like so no one will touch that shit.
That's important.
So you have to, even for for me,
Yeah.
it's on there for the rest of
Right.
the time
Right.
until we change class times or whatever. But
I do that too
you have to.
in a different way. I use reverse time blocking, I guess. Not really reverse. It's
What do
still
you
time
mean?
blocking, but like I have my calendar and I'll set like blocks of time, like 4-hour blocks of time where I'm like nothing.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
nothing goes in there. Like,
Yeah.
and when I say nothing, it doesn't mean I'm not working. It means no meetings,
Yep.
no hanging out, no
Mhm.
bullshit. It's just 4-hour block of like
Yeah.
whatever I got to do,
Yep.
it goes in there.
Yeah.
I think it's and I have hours of
Mhm.
the day that shit stays
Yeah.
active because
Yeah.
I know I have to have that time to do whatever the things are that I'm trying to get
Mhm.
done. And as opposed to like, I mean, living in a world, and I know people have this like at work,
Mhm.
like their calendar, like it's like public and people can put things. I know you
That's
have that.
mine. That's mine. Yeah.
I would probably not do well in that environment.
Yeah. So we talk about is like at my day job is that, well, one of my jobs is that people can book my time.
Mm-mm.
They know I work from 9 to 2 or whatever that time is. They can book whatever. If it's available, they can book it.
Yeah.
Even within like 24 hours. So
Yeah.
like I'm available from that time.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I'm like, I'll put stuff on my calendar, personal stuff on my calendar,
and it
but
has
they'll
to
book
move.
over it. It
Yeah.
has to move.
Yeah.
So it's like, shit.
But that's part of the agreement that you made working
That is true.
there. So you
Also-
understand that and you balance it.
And also, at work, you have to force time to take your time, like to leave when you're supposed to
Yeah,
leave. And
right.
and this person's probably an overachiever, sounds like, but you also have to obviously make. I find that I'm going all over the place too, but typically it's people that we see are folks who do a lot of like day job work.
Yeah.
And they don't make time for the second part, which is that fitness goal. So it's usually them cutting into their professional life
Yeah, is what they feel.
is what they feel.
Yeah.
But usually if someone like that is saying that, you probably do more than 99% of the people that you work with. So just saying.
And realize that, being better physically, mentally is going to help you professionally. It just is.
Yeah.
Those lessons apply across the spectrum.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be my answer. All right.
That's a good next question.
I skipped ahead and come back to the last one there. What's your take on incorporating elements of play or gamification into the goal setting process? I don't have a lot of experience with that.
Maybe it's maybe with a friend or something.
It could be. Like the open is like you try to win. I mean,
yeah, but really we're trying to survive.
Yes, it's what you realize. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's competitive. I mean, no, karate can have martial arts can with like belt systems and stuff can
Mhm.
have a little bit of that. I suppose that's a level of gamification because
Yeah.
you work towards this level and you are rewarded,
Mhm.
with a color and a level, and I'm this,
Mhm.
You can get into that. I mean, that
Yeah.
whatever helps.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of that in fitness necessarily. I will tell you, I don't think the app is active anymore, but I forget what it was called. It was called like To Do Adventures or something like that. And it was like you put in goals and then like for the day, like to dos or whatever. And every time you get one done, you get like a character and it was like a dwarf,
Yeah.
like a, fantasy. And he'd like go on an adventure. He'd be like, he went to this thing and beat this dragon. And then it would like tell the story.
Yeah.
That's kind of extreme and stupid, but I don't know. I don't have a ton of it.
Sure.
I
If
don't
that
have
works for hey, if it works for you, you're not hurting anybody, and it gives you
Yeah.
do it and share us what you're doing if it works.
Yeah.
Because maybe people that do, I know a lot of people who do game. You know,
I mean,
maybe that's a helpful strategy.
Yep.
I don't know.
We're not the best to ask that, I think, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. Whatever works. It can't hurt as long as you're not going crazy, I guess. Like, betting all your money on something
Oh yeah, well,
and losing constantly, being broke.
that might make you again money.
Yeah.
Money makes people act.
All right. Let's see. Come on. Nope. Where did it go? Here we go. Last one. Last one, unless somebody sends some more in. Let's see. Make sure the public ones are. Yep, we're good. All right. What should I do if I reach a point where I've achieved all my goals? How do I maintain momentum? I don't know about reaching all your goals. I mean, you should probably be able to continue to create something in your life. But I think I don't know. What do you think? I don't want to just give my opinion over before we think about this anymore.
Well, I mean,
What you thinking, man?
create more different goals. I don't know. I've never done with mine, so I think
I've never achieved all mine. Yeah, no.
I never will, because that's the beauty about life. You can always have new goals. So maybe I'll just example for me, like I've reached a couple physical goals this year, and now I'm in recovery mode for a month or so to get my body my body back together. So I'm taking that very seriously.
Make it sound like you got beat up or something.
I didn't get beat up. They've asked about my test that I did. I'm like, man, it was rough.
You get beat up.
No, but I worked really hard to prepare for it, and kind of took a toll on my body.
It happens.
And then, going through everything this spring, I kind of was like, oh, I didn't realize I was sitting as much or doing, because I was working a new job. So it put a lot of strain on my body. I didn't even know it I had.
Mm.
You have this like high when you're working, you know,
Yeah.
you come
Yep.
off that goal and you're
Mhm.
like, oh, wait a second. So maybe it's a good time to pick a different goal, something completely different. Maybe
Yeah.
it's a recovery goal. Maybe it's cooking 3 home meals a week,
Yeah.
you know, and then create new goals.
Yep. It can also go back to what you asked originally when we first started, which was the setting the, shoot for the moon or shoot for the stars. And sometimes you just hit the moon, whatever the hell that was. But
Yeah,
maybe your goals aren't big enough.
maybe.
I'm looking at this sort of reverse engineering it. If, what should I do if you feel like you've reached all your goals
Mhm.
probably aren't big enough. You should probably take a look at like what they were and like set some bigger, hairier ones,
Mhm.
Um, that's a thing to do.
That
Take
would
a
be a thing to
risk.
do.
Take a risk.
Yeah.
Because what we're talking about is setting goals and then mitigating the risk of not making the goals, right? We're trying to like
Mhm.
plan it out so that we can actually get there and we don't like experience too much loss because we're missing the
Right.
point and stuff like that. But sometimes you do have to take a risk.
I would say so. And before maybe you've met your goals, congratulations, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Celebrate them
Yeah.
and then move forward and do something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're never done.
The momentum thing,
Yeah.
that's an important one or interesting
Mm.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can build momentum and you can really feel it.
Mhm.
Uh,
Definitely.
and I would say that like it's a realm of like mindset in that we talk about, Kaizen a lot, which
Mhm.
is the incremental improvement.
Yeah.
And, you can incrementally improve a little bit every day,
Mhm.
a year into that, you're like, wow, I've come a long way.
Mhm.
I think that's where you can utilize like celebrating certain milestones.
Mhm.
You don't want to live in the past, right? We've had a whole show on like,
We have, yeah.
the guy who's like, well, I played football in high school and I was awesome, but now he's like, super overweight and doesn't
Yeah.
do a damn thing. It's like, well,
Right.
great, you haven't done anything in 20 years. Don't be that person,
Mhm.
but like celebrating, you know, your achievements and stuff along the way can help you
Mhm.
sort of keep that momentum going as long
Mhm.
as you're forward focused, I
Mhm.
think.
I would also say that it can be once you reach your goal, and maybe momentum, maybe it's another way to say is that like thrill of the challenge. And for me, once I reach a goal, like I get kind of like, what do I do now? Like I need that like
Yeah.
something to drive me
Right.
constantly to get
Right.
better. And you had that high when you're in the
Mhm.
zone, you're doing it, you're showing up, and then you're
Mhm.
like, what do I do now? You don't stop.
Right.
And that's I think we talked about like the plateauing. That's a good place to be, just
Yeah.
maintain. Because even, when I wasn't working out as much during that really crazy time, within like a couple weeks, I was back to where I was
Mhm.
because I just maintained. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Right.
you gotta like just be consistent.
Mhm.
I think that's where consistency comes into play.
I
So
think so
enjoy
too.
it, enjoy the goal, and then make a new one
Mhm.
eventually.
And tools like journaling,
Yeah.
commiserating, you know,
Yeah.
start a podcast. I don't know, I'm full of shit, but like that sort of thing. And you're constantly looking at the process, like living in that process, writing about that process, talking to
hmm
others about the process you're in. You're going to change. You're not going to be the same person
hmm
at the end of it than you were when you started it.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't help it.
Yeah.
Um, so that stuff's going to change. You're going to have new goals that get created in your brain as you are going through the process of achieving the first
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
And if you're in that continual improvement process, and writing that stuff down, it's going to kind of help
Yeah.
write it out.
Yeah.
Um,
Agree with that.
yeah. That's it. That's all the questions we had. We're at about an hour and I'm getting hungry. So
Time for a sandwich.
do you, I'll have one now. Do you have anything you want to wrap up with? Anything for the
I mean,
peoples?
I guess the only thing I just to come back around to is like it's life is a journey, and we should always have something to strive for.
Yeah.
And it's just so important to to spend our time here on earth with around people and doing things that make us better and will leave the world better. And that includes you being fit for your family and for those around you. So come work out with us.
I dig that.
You
That's
know?
a good way to look at it. Solid. All right. We should do these more often.
Agreed.
Maybe not in the next 2 years, but maybe we'll do
You
one
mean
before then.
before 2
Yeah,
years.
that's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Thanks for
Later.
joining us.